Hello everyone, welcome to Tiny to Early Learning Center. My name is Karmaiser. I'm a teacher here for the early learning childhood. Um, uh, Firstly, it's very nice and it's a pleasure to meet with the parents of our children. I'm aware that there has been certain concern shared lately regarding the play-based, and I'm here to address those concerns of yours. And I'd like to do that by sharing some of the informations in the context of play and pedagogy. And before that, let us firstly acknowledge the country. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and water across Australia and recognize their continuing connection to land, culture, and community. I pay my respect to the elderly past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today. So let's get straight to the point. Why do we consider play-based as one of the important methods in teaching our children today? Well, it's safe to say that we all learn in different ways, but whatever those ways are, it can be either considered as a branch of science or a branch of art. So, which is what exactly pedagogy is. Pedagogy is nothing but art or science of educating someone. And for kids who are just beginning to explore the world around them, where every day is a new experience for them. Play-based play-based becomes a very important process in their teaching and learning, in their learning, sorry. And this play-based is a very meticulously thought activities which are so designed for children to teach children. And I like to share that more with some theories. So there are many types of theories, but I like to share uh, about these two theory. The first one, Piaget's theory on cognitive development. It says that the children learns through play and through their surrounding, and he further breaks down into four categories, but we are more stages actually, but we are more concerned about the preoccupational stage, which is between the age 2 to 6. And this is a stage where children actually learn to use symbolic learning, whereby shapes, images, colors, it makes more sense to them. Visuals, it makes more sense to them. So, for example, children would play with a stick and they would think that it's a sword, which they represent. We'll look furthermore with more examples. And Vygotsky's social cultural theory, he says that children learn rather more um, through interaction, through social support from their parents, teachers, from their friends, anyone who is equipped with better knowledge. And he explains this further with the concept like zone of approximal development and scaffolding. And these are all actually implemented in a play that we do in our school. For example, here you can say children are um, engage in pretend play, or some children they are in the solving puzzles. So in both cases, there are support which is given by teachers. In the first play, there's a scaffolding support where children are stuck in between the play and teacher just gives a hint, and then the children continues through that hint. So there's a concept of scaffolding. And here the children, they're trying to solve a puzzle, but children have the idea that they need to solve the puzzle, but how to solve a puzzle, there's a gap. And there's a prospect that the children could solve the problem, but with support of an adult. And that's where the zone of proximal development comes. For example, here, there's two examples, role play and storytelling using props. So children, they're wearing a dress of a doctor, police, or nurses, and they're representing themselves because of the uniform, because they're able to relate that. And children usually learns more through visuals. That's why using of props while telling a story is the level of engagement and the level of learning significantly increases. And this is really, it reflects the idea of Piaget, where the children actually develops the symbolic thinking. But it's not just the play that um, the play which is actually which contributes to children's learning. The environment matters a lot, and learning environment could be anything, could be any physical, temporal, intellectual, um, social, which actually helps enables children to learn something, to develop any skills. And I think Malgotsky's put it in right way that environment is children's third teacher. So it in in our education center, so we actually explore children to many different things. Like there's a drama play indoors, and and then there's a role play, and they make the classroom, the learning environment conducive, not only conducive, but in a way where they have a reach and control and choice over their activities, where they can choose what they want to play. And outdoors, they could do gardening, cooking. They could go in the woods, forest, explore, where they learn about science, where they learn about um, sustainability, which is one of the important practice in this early learning childhood frameworks. So so the main idea is that the environment should be designed in a way that enables children's learning, but at the same time, it is more conducive, but it also which actually fills them with curiosity to learn more. So these are some of the examples how the environment actually helps children in learning, and these are all implemented in our early childhood setting. But for me, if I'm ever asked that what would be my personal philosophy towards teaching and towards play, especially, I think it would be play as a tool, as a holistic development. I consider this as my personal philosophy because nowhere in the history of humanity, I think, has ever human as a people we have ever enjoyed the level of comfortness and convenient as we do today. We have all resources available. We have all strategies and education and training available that we could actually give a holistic development to our kids. And I think it is also right. It is also the right for our children to actually expect that their learning is holistic. So so while we design a play, it's not a play-based activity. It's not just the children are learning mathematics or literature or language. There's far more they are learning about simple stuff like making friendship, socializing. They're learning about problem solving. They're learning about building confidence. They're learning about emotional well-being. They're learning about sustainability. They're learning about compassion. So this is a holistic approach that children need in this 21st century. So I think this is possible and this is very useful for the children of this generation. But there are also challenges, various challenges which comes uh, while implementing play-based in our childhood setting. So first could be misunderstanding of play-based pedagogy. Now, these examples I could just give about why we're here today. I think we are here, we're making this, we're having this dialogue, we're having this meeting, presentation is because there has been some misunderstanding from the parents' side or some concern. And it's probably because a lot of the parents, they think that formal education is more important, plays relatively kind of a fun, a leisure game, a leisure types of event. But we would like to say that it's not. And then this is the kind of a challenge we usually come across. And solution is what we're doing today by having a dialogue, by spreading awareness about how play actually, brings learning in many different ways in a kid's life, and by showing you the progress that kids are making, the childrens are making while while indulging themselves in different varieties of play. There are many different types of play we do. And they engage in drama, they engage in play, they engage in outdoor games, which all brings development in various different kinds. So this is first misunderstand challenges. The second is the behavioral issue or group dynamics, which is when we do when we implement play-based in our curriculum, it's not always it runs smoothly. Sometimes there are kids, children who do not cooperate well, who do not want to take equal participations in the activity, and then it actually disturbs the whole event and also cause the hindrance. So the solution generally is that we have to really pay attention to the behavior pattern of the student. And then we have to also talk with the parents also. And one thing is we also have to train ourselves how to improve better so that the children can take more role in the play-based activities and that learning happens. So the third challenge could be the time. Time is of essence in everything that we do, and then you know that teaching young children is always a slow process, and uh, when there's no proper planning there, I think we have so much to do in so little time that sometimes to accomplish what we need, we really have to rush. So the time is of essence, and the solution is always to actually have a very proper plan in a way that there's a flexible routine so that children are given a fair amount of time in one play, not that there are many different activities in a single day where children cannot engage fully in one play. So flexibility is needed so that children can actually invest themselves in one single play and sometimes even to the next day so that the learning happens in many different ways. And sometimes it also sometimes what happens is we also need to make awareness to the parents also about the curriculum that the play-based is important. So these are some of the challenges that we face, and these are some of the solutions that I think works to tackle these challenges. So this brings to the end of my presentation, and before I wind up, I would like to say that play-based pedagogy is a meticulously thought process which are so designed to stimulate children into learning, into motivating themselves, into learning and motivating themselves so that their cognitive development, so their social skills, cultural knowledge develops. Thank you so much.